Good morning, everyone. The name of this workshop is Literature and Slogans. My name is Shelley B. I'm a compulsive overeater. Welcome to the first ever Dallas Virtual Convention. This session's format is one speaker for 30 minutes. Then the floor will be open for 2-minute Q&A and shares. Before I introduce the speaker, here are some housekeeping information. Attendees are set to mute. We ask you to rename yourself to your first name and last initial. If you wish, you can add your phone number or email. This session is being recorded. Only the audio portion will be made available. Please stop your video if you're walking around, driving, or eating. You will still be able to hear the session. We may turn off your video for you. Please send a chat message when you're ready to have your video turned back on. If you want to change your view settings, click on the view button on the top right of your screen. You may choose either gallery or speaker view. Also, please note that chat is set to host only. Questions and comments will only be seen by the host. Our first speaker is Barbara D. from New York.
Can you hear me?
Now we can. Thank you, Barbara.
Okay, great. Hi, my name is Barbara, and I'm a compulsive overeater. Please excuse my reading my talk because doing the notes doesn't work for me too well. In July, God willing, I'll celebrate my 24th anniversary of no binging. I've been at or close to goal weight for a few years. I'm very grateful to this program and all of you for the new sanity and peace I have in my life, one day at a time. Slogans have been an important part of my recovery from the beginning. I recovered in Brooklyn, New York, and some of us add slogans to the Serenity Prayer at the end of our meetings. Of course, as usual for New Yorkers, we tend to disagree as to what we want to add. So in formal context, it's not unusual to have a policy of not adding anything, which of course, not everybody obeys. But here's the spiel I learned in Brooklyn, which I found helpful and inspiring. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. So bring a lot of love and don't pick up. You're worth it. I came into OA 3 times. The first time I was a non-believer and the talk about higher power bothered me. The second time I was a new Christian believer and saying something other than the Bible was the big book bothered me. But at least by now they were opening it and reading it out loud. The third time my higher power spoke to me sternly about destroying his holy temple, my body, and how I better do something. So I came in ready to do whatever it took, and I've been here ever since. I've had times when outside issues screamed in my ear till I thought I'd go crazy. I've felt lonely and left out. I've envied what others seemed to have. I'd wondered how I could possibly do all the steps. I've gained weight and abstinence. I've lost those I was close to. Yet I stayed, and things always got better. Sometimes people have to listen and experience the fellowship for a while before they can really work the program. Other people work so hard and do so much that they think they're ready to graduate, and instead they relapse. People get used to a food plan, and they have health issues and can't use it anymore. The answer is always the same. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. As the big book says, it's a program of action. When I feel stuck, the answer is one small action. Make a call, read literature, write about it, do one household chore, sing, take a walk, or even sometimes take a nap. I can recite the steps or traditions over and over, but am I acting on it? That's the thing. If I'm upset, I take the next right action. If I get bad news, the next right action might be to sit quietly and breathe and deal with my feelings and my thinking. Then my next action will be done with sanity. Sometimes I feel I'm not making any progress, that all my work is for nothing. Then I need to look back and remember what it was like when I came. Bring a lot of love. That's a slogan. Love is the atmosphere in OA that enables a lot of scared, shamed, confused, depressed people to recover. Theodore Rubin, in his foreword to the book Overeaters Anonymous, puts it this way. OA also helps to contribute a greater sense of self and self-esteem through its extraordinary implementation of camaraderie and caring for one's fellows and oneself. It functions as a giant contributor to awakening and adding to its members' sense of their own humanity. This is crucial in battling malignant addiction, or for that matter, any illness of the mind and body. They really are one. This book describes the OA experience as told by various members through their own stories. These are moving and educational stories. They are full of struggle, constructive struggle, and hope. Most important, they tell of enhanced compassion for self, for others, and for the state of being human. They tell us about fellowship and what a powerful therapeutic instrument caring can be. From the very beginning, I was impressed with the care members took to impart information, how gently they helped each other to get a better perspective, to laugh, how warmly together we were when we went out to lunch or dinner after meetings. I love that we usually sit in a circle, able to see each other, all equal. Often the speaker is part of the circle, not in any real front of the room. Those who have great recovery are usually quite accessible, easy to talk to. They're not experts, but fellow addicts. They understand. Being told I should bring love when I just got there was oddly encouraging to me. All I needed was a general goodwill, an openness to communion, a willingness to communicate and listen. I could expect that to be reciprocated and expanded on by those who had been around for a while. What could be easier? And don't pick up. You're worth it. We have been shamed because of our fat bodies, our lack of control, our greed. We dieted and felt we were being punished by eating bland, fibrous food. We went for extreme deprivation and ate things that tasted terrible. We exercised till we injured our legs. We went to therapy and tore ourselves and our families apart. At the end of it all, the problem was still there. OA turns this inside out. My only hope is to be gentle and kind with myself, to be abstinent with clear eyes and a vigorous step, to keep my promises and say no when I need to is a great reward, not a punishment. I am beloved and worthy of care. Therefore, I choose abstinence at any price. And I say to my fellows, don't pick up because you are precious and I care. Another slogan I love is easy does it, but do it. Between the two extremes of passivity and compulsive activity, there is sanity. The new tool of action plan, not so new anymore, I guess, is helpful in that regard. It helps to write down what I'll be doing and what I'll eat. I try to keep it to a piece of memo paper. If it won't fit, I'm probably doing too much. But also, things can change. Bad weather, something canceled, family emergency, and I can revise my plan. When I tried to keep it all in my head, I was always worrying that I'd forget something important. Often I did. Let's see, there's Just for Today, which became a whole pamphlet. I'm going to read it to you. I just think this is so wonderful. Just for today, I will try to live through this day only and not tackle all my problems at once. I can do something for 12 hours that would appall me if I felt that I had to keep it up for a lifetime. Just for today, I will be happy. This assumes to be true what Abraham Lincoln said, that most folks are as happy as they make up their minds to be. Just for today, I will adjust myself to what is, and not try to adjust everything to my own desires. I will take my luck as it comes and fit myself to it. Just for today, I will try to strengthen my mind. I will study. I will learn something useful. I will not be a mental loafer. I will read something that requires effort, thought, and concentration. Just for today, I will exercise my soul in 3 ways. I will do somebody a good turn and not get found out. If anybody knows of it, it will not count. I will do at least 2 things I don't want to, just for exercise. I will not show anyone that my feelings are hurt. They may be hurt, but today I will not show it. Just for today, I will be agreeable. I will look as well as I can, dress becomingly, keep my voice low, be courteous, criticize not one bit. I won't find fault with anything, nor try to improve or regulate anybody but myself. Just for today, I will have a program. I may not follow it exactly, but I will have it. I will save myself from 2 pests, hurry and indecision. Just for today, I will have a quiet half hour all by myself and relax. During this half hour sometime, I will try to get a better perspective of my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. Especially, I will not be afraid to enjoy what is beautiful and to believe that as I give to the world, so the world will give to me. I've had some pretty hairy things to deal with in the past few years. My mother slowly dying, bed bugs for 5 months, our bed falling apart in the middle of the COVID lockdown. Again and again, I found I could get through it and even be happy much of the time if I took it in 1-day portions. I'd just do the next indicated action and take special measures to avoid isolation. Then there's awareness, acceptance, action. If I want to live a good life, I need to pay attention to what's going on, what I'm feeling. If it's not to my liking, I have a tendency to act impulsively before I even know what I'm reacting to, and I can make mistakes that have terrible consequences. If I tend to react in certain situations, I'm responsible for approaching them with awareness and making some effort to provide for my sanity. Next, things don't always go as I would like. The store doesn't have what I want. There's a line at the ATM. My taxes are much bigger than I thought. I can say to myself, I don't like this. I'm annoyed. I'm nervous. I might have to cut out a planned activity, cut down on spending. I accept my feeling, then I take a breath and ask to accept the situation and not react. Otherwise, at the next snag, I might explode. Do I always remember to do this? Of course not. But I've gone over it enough so that at the back of my mind, I kind of know I should. I might just be able to take a few deep breaths or say to myself, it will only be a few minutes. It's not so bad. Sometimes I fail. I snap at someone or make a fuss in another situation later. Then I need to remember awareness, acceptance, action. I ask God to remove my impatience, which is usually the problem. No cross, no crown, no pain, no gain. Sometimes I really don't feel like showing up or making that call or changing my food so I can lose weight. I may be tired, discouraged, upset with someone, or just fragile. When I hurt, I want to wallow in self-pity. I get tired of the same old thing. But a lot of experience shows me that if I take the next action or accept the inevitable pain or discomfort, I will be better off. Knowing that it's all part of a fantastic recovery that I share with thousands of other people makes a big difference. And as I share honestly, there's hope that someone else in OA may have an easier time in one way or another because of what I went through. And that's the best of all. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, thank you so much for that share. We're now going to open the floor for 2-minute question, answer, and shares for the speaker. So here's some guidelines on that. Please focus your questions and shares on the topic of this meeting. For those who arrived late, the topic of this session is literature and slogans. Please place your questions in the chat and the Zoom host will read them to the speaker. Please focus your shares on answering the question. What is your main takeaway? How will you apply this to your program? To share, please raise your virtual hand by selecting Raise Hand at the bottom of the reaction menu located at the bottom of your screen or at the bottom of the participant list. If you are joining by phone only, please use *9 to raise and lower your hand. The leader will call on you to share. That's me. Please select unmute to speak. The timer will signal when time's up. The meeting is now open for Q&A and sharing.
I have a question or a comment, Barbara. This is Davney, reader, and your host, your Zoom host. I got to put my video on here so you can see my face. Thank you so much. You've been around a while, and you said that you've been up and down. You've had relapses. You're abstinent. You're doing all the things you're supposed to do. And I think the message that I hear is for those of us who've been around a while is to share the fact that we aren't perfect and that it isn't perfect. Our recovery isn't perfect, but that we keep coming back. And that's a slogan that is really important to me. And do you have a favorite slogan? There are so many that you shared. You have to unmute yourself. There you go.
But they're not, no, I can't. I can't,
Yeah,
oh, I'm okay now. Okay.
You're okay.
Do I have a favorite slogan? I guess it must be keep coming back.
And it's made a difference in your life to keep coming back is what I'm hearing.
In fact, I have become a person who can keep up commitments through difficulties, a person who doesn't quit so easily. I've been able to stay in a relationship. I've been able to stay in a job. It's impacted everything I do.
Great, thank you.
Carol Lee, go ahead. Can you unmute yourself?
Hi, everybody. Carol Lee, compulsive overeater. Barbara, wonderful to hear you. I really have to apologize. I was not able to get in earlier. Internet has its little foibles, despite many wonderful messages from OA Dallas Convention. And thank you, OA Dallas, for putting this on. Wonderful service for all of us. I'm from New York in the Hudson Valley area. And so unfortunately, I missed a lot of what you said, Barbara, but I know you in program and I know you have a wonderful, committed, strong program, which is wonderful. And I love the literature. I read literature every single morning. My morning time is just, and I've been in OA many years, a lot of years of abstinence. I also have had my struggles in past years, but my life has turned upside down for the better since I've been in OA. It has just been an extraordinary fact of my life. I would not be who I am without 12-step programs. Every morning I read my literature. I spend probably a good 20 minutes reading OA literature, AA literature. I particularly love the big book. I'm right now, a big OA reading, a big favorite of mine is the Lifeline Sampler. If anybody doesn't know it, it's a collection of Lifeline stories. It's an older book, which I've read several times. I'm reading it again. And I always love the stories. To me, they're extremely meaningful. And I came to OA because I had a big weight problem. And I just wanted to lose weight. Wasn't able to keep weight off, and that was why I came. It's not the major reason why I stayed. The spiritual, emotional recovery that I've gotten and I see in other people over so many years has kept me coming. It's just such an extraordinary program. And I'm so grateful for Zoom. We get to Zoom around the country and the world and hear people with all different kinds of experience from all different places and regions. So again, thank everybody for being here and have a great day.
Thank you, Carolyn. Anyone else like to share?
I'd like to share. I'm Adrienne. I'm a recovering compulsive overeater. And I too, Barbara, have been a chronic relapser. I have done the hokey pokey with this program for over 30 years, and I have been graced with abstinence for several years now. What has been, for me, it was the big book. It was the doctor's opinion where it says 4 times, put the food down. That finally resonated with me to stop. I got a bigger God. I finally woke up to the program. What was your aha moment to wake up and get with the program?
You have to unmute yourself, Barbara. There you go.
Takes a little while. I guess, it was what I've described. My higher power just saying to me, you're drunk in a gutter and you're destroying my holy temple. So this time around, it was, God was really like saying, I want you in this thing. I want you to commit to this thing. And so I just had a completely different attitude from the other 2 times.
Thank you, Barbara. I'd also like to take this opportunity to share. I'm Shelley, compulsive overeater. I was really inspired by what you said. One of the first things I wrote down was bring a lot of love. And, if that I think that carrying the message is obviously our primary purpose, but defining that as a message of love that's delivered in love is just a wonderful way to focus that. And so I'm going to incorporate that into my program and the way that I approach meetings and 12-step work and just walking around sharing the program. So, and I also wanted to tell you that the Just for the Today card it stays on my desk, and I love this thing. I can, if I don't know what the next right thing is, I can look at this card and just pick something. A next right thing.
Lost
It
your
doesn't
audio
have to
and
be a
video.
V.
She's frozen.
It's okay. I just muted John. Shelley, are you still?
Yes. So I'm
I just-
frozen.
No, I just muted John. He was working with somebody else on
Okay.
something.
All right. So yes, I just need a next right thing, something to focus on. And so I'm so glad you brought this little tool to our attention, because I think it's invaluable. It's tiny, but it's invaluable. So thank you so much for agreeing to share your experience, strength, and hope, and all the way from New York in our little Dallas convention. So with that, I will pass and open the floor for anyone else who'd like to share or ask a question. One other thing that I'd like to invite participants to do, this is about literature and slogans, and someone brought up the Lifeline Sampler, which is an excellent resource that you don't see much anymore. If anyone would like to share additional slogans that are important to your program, or additional pieces of literature that you use to support your program, approved literature, of course, then we would love to hear that as well.
I had another question for Barbara, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Barbara, when the chips are really down and you really feel like you want to pick up, what are your most powerful slogans at that time that go through your head and help you get more strength?
I'm drawing a blank. Well, now that's a promise. That's not a slogan. Sorry, I can't think of it right now.
I can share mine. I think that mine is "Don't stop before the miracle happens." You know, when I get tempted to pick up, that one seems to help me a lot at this time. I'm sure there'll probably be others that'll pop up.
And Adrian has her hand raised. That was great, Laura. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. I like pause. I live in the pause so I can hear God. And pause for me is pray and use spiritual energy. So that's what I have to share.
Thank you, Adrian. I'm writing that down. Right. Use spiritual. All right. Does anyone else have their hand raised? Carolee, go ahead.
Hi, Carol Lee again. Lots of the slogans are great. When I first came into program, I wasn't impressed with slogans. I thought, what, they're kind of corny or this and that. As I was in program longer and longer, they became more and more meaningful, and now I love them. And they're extremely meaningful to me because I had to get the program. I did, so that was a little process. One of the things I just love and adore was the beginning of the third step prayer, and I use it a lot. God, I offer myself to thee. And for me, it just gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. Over a long period of time, it has given me such strength. If I'm going into something that I'm frightened about, my anxiety is up at a 10. God, I offer myself to thee, comes down to a 0, like instantaneously. If I'm driving and somebody's really harassing me, God, I offer myself to thee, I immediately calm down. It's like magic for me. So for me, that's been a really nice thing. There are a lot of wonderful OA conference approved literature. I was a rep to World Service in the late 80s when we were voting on the 12 and 12. And so I have a great respect for OA literature. For today, the meditation book is incredibly wonderful. If anybody doesn't know it, and of course, recovery is another one, which I'm reading now. And I also want to put a plug in for a recent publication by OA, the first time I've seen it, which was on sexual relationships and intimacy, on body image. I forget the exact title, but it came out just within the last year. A really wonderful book, because I don't remember an OA book that really, dealt with body image directly, and also sexual issues and relationships. So I strongly recommend that piece of literature to everybody also. And also by buying our literature, we are supporting our program. And by supporting our OA program, we support ourselves. So thanks.
Thank you, Carolee. Dave, would you like to share?
Hi. Yes, I would. Thank you so much, Shelley. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I too have been in the program a long time. And it's not necessarily a slogan, but it's something that I've learned from my sponsors and that I've passed on to sponsees, and it's called BREATHE, BREATHE. And I haven't thought of an acronym words to go with that. Maybe someone else has, but wow, what a difference it makes if I take a breath and then another breath in and out. And I can watch my shoulders relax, because otherwise I'm just like hyped up and I can't think. So for me, breathing is really important. And it always strikes me funny that we can breathe with no problem whatsoever. I mean, thank you to my higher power, to however you think you were created. We don't have to think about breathing. But boy, I do have to think about not breathing when I don't breathe, So that spiritual piece, and that's something, part of meditation, I believe. So I thank you all for being here, and I'll pass.
Thank you, Davey. Anyone else have to share on literature or slogans? Okay. Seeing no raised hands and no questions in the chat, I will go ahead and close this meeting. We'd like to thank Barbara and everyone who attended this session. We're now going to have a transition break. We've got about, let's see, we've got quite a few minutes because we're ending a little bit early. So we'll start the next session in room A, practicing these principles in all our affairs, the principles of each step. Or in this room, room B, relapse is the topic. So please choose one of those and join us. We will start at 10 a.m. So thank you very much, and we will see you soon.